So I've spent a fair amount of time in denial of the fact that September is fast approaching, and we as parents and as educators are all being faced with a massive decision, a decision that will affect our health, our well-being, our mental health, our physical health, our lives, really, our kids' social happiness, their emotional happiness, their physical health, their safety, their education. Education is the least of the worries, of course, but here's the thing. Each and every day, I am in a position, and I'm only talking about me because that's who I can talk about, with considering the following questions. So every single day, all day, this is what is running through my mind. If I go back to work, does that mean that I will no longer see my parents and my relatives? That means working is going to be substituted for caring for and seeing and being with my family. If I go back to work, what am I going to do? Who am I teaching? What am I teaching? How many kids am I teaching? And where am I teaching? How am I teaching? Will I be teaching them live, or will I be teaching them virtually? Or will I be doing both? If I am expected to teach them live and virtually, how am I supposed to achieve that? Will I be live screening the classes that I do teach? If so, how am I supposed to do that? Where do I get the equipment and the knowledge base when on a normal day-to-day basis I have to trade back and forth with my fellow colleagues just to get an HDMI cord? What equipment am I using to live stream my classes? And how do I get the knowledge and expertise in order to be able to actually do that? And then what comes with projecting myself and my professional practice into other people's living rooms? How comfortable am I doing that on a daily basis? I teach in a specialized program where the students come from out of catchment all over the place. They come from Waterdown, Burlington, as far as Oakville, etc., just to come to our program. That requires busing. Will they get that busing? How are they going to get that busing? Is it worth their while to come there for half-day learning if taking the bus takes them an hour and a half to get there? Does that mean the students are now dropping out of my program? I share an office with 7 colleagues. Our office is literally 20 feet long by approximately 14 feet wide, and there are like 7 of us that share that space. I guess that means that I don't have an office anymore. So if I don't have an office, where do I even put my purse? Do I carry my purse with me all day? Do I not have a purse and then have to have my personal belongings in a fanny pack that I carry with me at all times? What about my lunch? Where do I eat lunch? Standing up? Do I eat lunch in the classroom? In the classroom with the kids? Does that mean that I don't get any kind of break whatsoever? Questions. I have a lot of questions. Let's talk about my elementary school son. So he takes the school bus. There's been a driver shortage for school bus drivers for the last 4 years. There are literally not enough buses or drivers to take kids to school already pre-COVID. On any given day, his school bus could be approximately 20 minutes late. Some days his school bus did not show up at all, which meant he was left standing outside in the freezing cold in front of our home waiting for a bus. And then just some days turned around and went back into our house. So will they be socially distancing on buses? If so, that means they require more buses and more school bus drivers. If they already don't have enough to go around, how is that going to be fixed in the next couple of weeks? Let's say they don't socially distance on the buses. What happens when a kid on that bus gets sick? What happens when the school bus driver gets sick? Am I just supposed to say, oh, well, tap my son on the ass and send him on his way on that bus? No. So I guess that means he can't ride the school bus anymore, which means somehow I have to get him to school. Does that mean I have to reduce my timetable at work? Do I now work part-time? How do I even apply to work part-time? I don't know. Have I missed the deadline on that? if I'm working part-time, is it even financially viable to do that just so that I can take my son to school? So now we no longer have any transportation. Let's talk about the fact that his class size isn't reduced. He's in a class with like 25 kids. Is he in a portable? A portable? Because he's been in a portable for the last 3 years. There's like no ventilation in there, and they are teeny tiny enclosed spaces. Then let's talk about the fact that he has ADHD. Is he supposed to sit in a desk? A desk? We don't teach with desks. No one sits in desks anymore. Is he supposed to sit in a desk all day? That's not possible. That does not accommodate his IEP. How's he supposed to learn without being able to get up, to stand up, to stretch, to move his legs? Even if he didn't have ADHD, we all need to do that. We can't sit in one spot the entire day. It's not physically healthy, it's not emotionally healthy, it's not safe. So what happens? What happens when he wakes up with a cold? Is a cold now, or does a cold mean we all have to stay home every time we get a cold? Let's go back to me for a minute. Last year, the government started saying that if I missed more than 5 days of work, I had to go on an attendance review. So if I wake up and I have a fever and I stay home and I do that 5 times, am I now having disciplinary action started progressively towards me? What happens there? So then, let's say I don't send my elementary school son to school, then he stays home from school all by himself every day. Again, ADHD. Is he going to log on to the hub and do all of his work by himself and not go on computers all day? No. Would a kid without ADHD be able to do that with no other grown-up in the house? No. So back to, do I have to stay home and homeschool him again? Because the only reason he was successful in online learning the first time was because I was there as his educator homeschooling him. So then I also have a daughter who is in high school. There is another thing to think about. So she also has no way of getting to school. She is going to have to now take a city bus. Are city buses safe? Are city buses socially distancing? If they are, does that mean they're limiting how many people can get on the bus? If they're limiting how many people can get on the bus during a prime traffic time of school, does that mean like 5 buses are going to pass her by before she can actually get on one? So that's at like 7:30 in the morning in the middle of the winter, and buses keep passing her by because there's not enough room on them. Or do they just not socially distance, and then it's like not going to be safe for her to do so? Then she's only going half days. Is it every second day? Is it every day? I don't even know anymore. And so like she goes to school one day and then she comes home for the whole afternoon. Is she going to be that independent learner, or is she going to like get depressed? Is she going to miss her friends? Is she going to struggle socially and mentally and emotionally? Is she going to get sick? And let's go back to my original question of, does this mean I no longer see my parents like ever? Does this mean that my children don't see their grandparents because it's no longer safe for them to do so? This is what is going through my head all day, every day. Oh, including, this is an important one. We haven't been in school since March 13th. Not since March 13th. Since March 13th, all of those buildings have been vacant. Have they converted the sinks to touchless sinks? Have they converted the doors to, automatic opening doors? No. Have they so much as put a plastic bag around a fountain and said, don't use this? No, none of that work has been done. Have the desks, the conference tables that we used been removed? Have they been placed with individual desks? Have things been taped off? What work has happened since March 13th in the physical spaces? Zero work. No work has been done in that time that all of these buildings have sat empty, but we're going to be ready in the next couple weeks? What work will be done in these buildings in the next few weeks when they've sat there empty all this time and the work could have been done? So I am doing my best to stay healthy physically. I'm doing my best to stay healthy mentally, but I'm not going to lie. These thoughts are circling on repeat constantly. Am I going back to work in the fall? I don't know. Are my kids going back to school in the fall? I don't know. Is the fall only a couple weeks away? Yep. What's best for my family? I don't know. I don't know. Do I have the answer? Nope. But do I resent being tapped on the ass and said, go get him, tiger, and sent back into the building? Yes, I resent that. Am I willing to go back to school? Yes. Do I miss my job so much? Do I miss my students? Yep. Do my students need me and the emotional support that I provide? 100%. Am I willing to go? Yep. But there's got to be a plan. And right now, there ain't no plan.